past 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again.
First off, let me share the good news with everyone. So I finally decided to buy a slightly bigger plane than my tiny Voluntex Spitfire, thinking that a slightly bigger plane would be easier to fly and more fun. What's more, I've been having issues with my 1.4 meter Cessna, but that's another story for another video. Hi everyone, Uncle Raymond here and welcome to another new video. I always think that the P-51 Red Tail is a really cool warbird, and when I came across this version from WLtoys, I decided to try it for real. The WLtoys XK A280 is an approximately 120 scale version of the P-51 Red Tail. It is powered by a brushless motor running on a 2-cell 600 mAh LiPo battery. The 4-channel radio has a flight controller that accepts S-bus and DSM receivers, and the plane has a 6-axis gyro and manual 3D modes. The plane itself is pretty detailed and has scale-looking fuel tanks and landing gear. The fuselage is about 50 cm while the wingspan is around 56 cm. There is also a generous number of navigational lights and they are very bright. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what's inside the box. Of course, you have the user manual. Okay, here are the landing gear, charger and some tools. The bright red nose cone. Spare props. The cute little fuel tanks. Here's the horizontal stabilizer. Okay, here's the main wing itself. It is quite nicely painted. We will have to connect the servo and lighting wires later. Okay, now the fuselage itself, it's pretty detailed. Nice little pilot with quite a detailed cockpit. Overall, I think the quality is okay. Now, I kind of hate it when these RTF models have the transmitter package at the bottom. Somehow, I always have trouble removing it. Okay, here's the transmitter itself. Okay, the 6G and manual modes, lighting control and dual rates. Okay, I've already slotted in the horizontal stabilizer and connected the push rod to the elevator. Now I just have to screw it in and fix the rear landing gear. The connectors on the servo and lighting wires are really tiny and it wasn't easy connecting them to the flight controller. I ended up using a pair of tweezers just to connect them. Now the scale looking fuel tanks are a really nice touch, but they have to be screwed into the wing. It would have been better though if we could simply snap them on. Now the propeller section was kind of troublesome to install and you have to use a few nuts and screws just to complete the assembly. Okay, here we go. Maiden flight for the WLtoys P-51 Red Tail. Well, that didn't go as planned. I obviously didn't give it enough throttle. Let's try again. Okay, much better. The plane is pretty stable even though there is some relatively strong winds. Okay, just taking it easy here and not trying anything too complicated. You can hear that the wind is howling here, but the stabilization is still okay. The low speed flight is really good even though there are no flaps on this plane. Now let's try and land this little warbird. Okay, that was a bad landing. Hopefully there are not too much damages on the plane. Well, the fuel tanks have been dislodged even though they were quite tightly screwed to the wing. Let's just fly without the fuel tanks for now. Okay, I'm going to put the plane into 3D mode and attempt a few loops and rolls. Now at this point you can see that the plane is a mere speck in the sky. I was kind of panicking and trying very hard to bring it back. You can hear the beeps from the transmitter here, and that was me frantically trying to put the plane back in 6G mode. Here is where I think the point of no return was. I had forgotten about the 150 meters range of the radio, and at this point I had completely lost orientation of the plane. I tried and tried but just couldn't point the nose in the right direction to bring it back. So, such is the reality. I've always wanted to talk about this but never expected that it would come to me this way, losing a plane during its maiden flight. Well, honestly, it happens all the time. While watching RC videos on YouTube inspired me somewhat, I've come to realize that most people will show you just the best sides of things. Yes, some channels will show you the occasional crashes, etc. But in reality, people crash RC planes all the time. Even those really expensive ones flown by very experienced pilots. I mean, I'm not that experienced when it comes to RC planes and boats. And yes, by now, you would have known that I've already lost a boat and now a plane. And on both occasions, even the missus think I'm inconsolable. Yep, they are both painfully heart-wrenching mistakes that stayed in my head for a while. Here's the thing, I'm not giving up. I think I will learn from my mistakes and continue to enjoy this hobby as much as I possibly can. Because why give up on something that gives you joy? Maybe one of these days I'll go and search for this plane and see if it's stuck in a tree or whatever. But chances are I'll buy another plane in the future. And oh, there's the Cessna I've yet to tell you more about. So please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more news and reviews in the near future. This is Uncle Raymond signing off, and to all RC enthusiasts out there, never stop playing.